Here's a little more information and a brief kind of assembly rundown on the screener for the 914. It's not really a full video on how to build it, but as you can see, there's less than 8 or 10 parts in the whole thing, so it's really pretty easy to put together. This is just a quick rundown of what's involved in assembling it. First of all, to get this out of the way, you must have the version of the 914 that has this liquid flux connector, the hydraulic quick disconnect that also features the electrical pickups. This is reliant on that, so if you have a regular 914 that doesn't have the auxiliary hoses and wiring out to the end of it, this will not work with your machine. You'd have to retrofit things, run your own electrical circuits, and certainly that's something you could do, but just know that this is meant for the higher end version of the machine that has these connections already available out at the tip. So if you're looking and you're on the fence, maybe that will help you decide if this is for you or not. Assembly is pretty basic. A couple of Allen drivers and a Phillips, depending on which screws you choose. That might vary a little bit, but really pretty straightforward. And as you can see, there are just a few parts here. So I've put a couple of them together already. The main cage prints as one piece, the quick connect coupler, and then wiring guard print as two other pieces. You've got a couple little pogo pins in here, super small little gold plated spring loaded pogo pins, so hopefully that's a good shot of that. Two of those. When you do wire these, when you solder the wires onto these on the fixed side, weld or solder the wires in at a 90-degree angle like this. Don't bring them off of the tip. If you weld them, I keep saying weld, sorry, if you solder them at an angle here, they'll come out much more easily and you'll be able to route your cables. So you can see here, if those are soldered at a 90-degree angle, it'll be a lot easier to route them out. Through the wire holder, we'll come down to the motor here. We'll get to that in a minute. Up in the main chassis here, there are already two bearings installed. They're 3x7x3, just in there with a couple of button-headed cap screws. So you could see some 3mm button-headed cap screws. I did put a washer on both sides of it, one under the head of the bolt and one between the washer and the print. That helps with these shielded bearings, keep them a little bit cleaner so that dirt doesn't get them. These bearings, the small, have the metal shields, not rubber seals, and since this is operating in the dirt, those just provide a little bit more of a barrier. You will need to use the pin from your existing bucket, or you could use a 4mm bolt if you wanted to, but I just used the pin from one of my buckets. I don't even bother to screw it in, but you could put a little self-tapping screw in here. You could see the quick attach is just screwed down with some small screws. Those are spec'd out in the included parts list, but certainly you might already have 8 little tiny self-tapping screws on your own. Really, the rest of the assembly is pretty straightforward. So you've got the basket. 2 set screws go, 2 3mm set screws go in 2 holes in the side. And then you've got the motor retainer, 2 more bearings, which we'll put in after the drum is installed, and then a motor cap, and then your 150 RPM 12-volt N20 motor. You could use a motor anywhere between 50 and 200 RPM. This 150 seems to be the sweet spot. It runs well on the 3S that the excavator provides, while still having enough torque to churn up a full bowl of material. Bearing is already pressed in the back. That's just a simple press fit. After that, your motor retainer goes in. These 2 holes for screws, they really aren't even needed. They're still in the print, but I have found that the motor face doesn't actually need to be screwed to this block, and it actually makes assembly quite a bit easier, so I'd really just ignore those. You do need to ream this middle hole to 4mm. It's important that the nose of the motor fit perfectly in there. That helps with alignment. This raised brass feature on the N20 gearbox. So do ream that to 4mm so it's a nice precise fit. That just snaps into the bearing like that. And then if you'll align it like this so that the rectangles are aligned between the motor support and the actual housing here, able to slide that up into the frame. We'll install 2 more bearings here. I'll do that off camera, but those will capture the motor. and then we'll drop the motor down in. Might have to wiggle it a little bit here to get everything to align between the printed housing, the motor support, and the shaft of the motor going into the drum. But with some wiggling and pushing, that will go in. After that's in, let me just get that out of the way for now. This cap will solder the wires onto the motor, and then this cap will glue on the back. It's up to you if you want to glue it on permanently with super glue, or if you want to use something a little more elastic, like maybe some rubber cement. That helps if you ever want to take the cap off and take the motor out to clean or grease the gearbox. It seems to stay pretty clean, since that's a nice tight fit between the shaft and that 4mm hole we reamed, but there is still the possibility some dust and dirt could get in here, since this is operating in a really dirty environment. So if you want to be able to clean that later on, you might use a more easily removable cement, either white glue or some rubber cement. After that, it's really just a matter of attaching it to your excavator. These two make connection. You're able to use the twist on the left stick. So the way it comes set up from the factory, assuming that these are all set up the same, this will operate the rotary drum in both directions. Your remote, I realize, might be set up a little bit differently, but whichever one of the channels is set up to operate the two pogo pins that are further apart on this quick connector, that's which control you'll use on your remote. And that's really about it. So total time to assemble after you have it printed is probably about 20 minutes. Pretty straightforward. Got a couple soldering joints, a little bit of gluing, and a little bit of screwing. Pretty straightforward. After that, you are ready to screen some soil. I'll include some footage of that next. Thanks for having a look.